The street is this. It's kind of small, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk down it, kind of show you what it is. I'll tell you all about this man right here, and there's another reference to him right here, George Chinnery. There's also some other historical stuff in this area as well, but we're gonna be walking towards this street and then down towards these houses where another artist used to live too. He's an artist, George Chinnery, from 1800s. I'll be talking all about it, so stay tuned for some of that on George Chinnery Street. Hey, check it out, Macau 2023. Check out some more streets. Okay, so this is going to be George Chinnery Street, and I guess I'll get right into it and tell you exactly who he is. But he's a very famous artist, probably the most famous artist out of Macau. And he's famous for watercolors in the 1800s. And he has a street named after him. And some of it is because he's had some beautiful water sketches, including images from this church right here. If you search his name, you'll see lots of stuff from him. And he's kind of, there's like an image of his work pretty much everywhere in even on the street murals. Sometimes there's a famous area with a lot of his murals that are replicated, and they should have some on this street too. That would be a good idea. I'm going to go up this way a little bit just because the front of the street I feel like is more interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down Chinnery. Chinnery is actually quite small. It's just right down that street right there. Kind of interesting, you got this kind of space right there too. Okay. Yeah, I saw Lorenzo's church right there. So yeah, he would have done images of this church, among many other things. Yeah, actually the base of the street is more interesting. But we're gonna walk down this small street and we're gonna walk to these houses, and I'll explain those later as well. They have some references to historical Macau. And just to give you a little bit of information about George Chinnery's influence on the world is he was one of the first. He's from England originally, and he came to this then Portuguese colony, or part of Portugal I guess would have been. And he lived here for 27 years, I believe. So he came at about the age of 50 after maybe 22 years in England, and then another 25 years in India, in Chennai, and then around 50 years old he came here and stayed for his last 25 years of his life. And he painted watercolors, and became very famous throughout Europe for it, because it was before the photographic era. It's kind of interesting, we're catching photographs right now. These are all Hong Kong images right here, from 1970s, and kind of popularity, and young 1950s as well. So there's a nice little cafeteria in here. Bruce Lee, more Bruce Lee, Titanic. It's interesting, I was just talking about Chinnery's watercolors, and then we got into this kind of 50s and 70s. So we're gonna keep on going down. So, but anyways, his watercoloring inspired entire schools of people would just come here and try to study watercoloring just to get images of Asia, and then they would also watercolor and paint as well, and then they would sell those to Europe as well. So those were some of the first images, not the first, but the first kind of heavily produced images of Asia. Good to see. So this is the street right here, George Chinnery Street. Kind of a cool street. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be walking down this street right all the way down that way, and then there's some other artist houses down there that historically, including a Russian one, Smirnoff. And we're gonna try to capture that as well. So who at George Chinnery was at Small Street, and now we're on a different street altogether, and we're just gonna go straight into this other part, which has the Illusion Street and Six Houses Street, and those are references to opium for one. We'll kind of keep moving on here. Some really nice little alleys in this area. There's actually a typhoon coming, so by the way, so today is a typhoon day, but the incense is because it's also a certain holiday as well. It's what do they call that? There's a name for it, but right now it's like the veil between the worlds is thin right now, so it's for the ancestors. It's Hungry Ghost month. Okay, so these are some of the ones I wanted to show you right here. Patio de Illusion, which is a reference to opium. And these homes right here are kind of interesting. There's a set of them like this, and then I'm going to look at this other one where the Russian artist, I think, I can't remember, he would have been after George Chinnery, when it's Smirnoff. He's a Russian artist, and he's also really famous for his artwork. And he lived in these houses down here, which is called like six houses, something like that, seis casas. And anyways, so this area has kind of an artistic, historical reference. There it is, Patio das Seis Casas, 6 houses. So I think Smirnoff used to live in this area, and I think my understanding is, you know, a long time ago, this would have been like whole family would have lived in this little space, and they would have had this whole patio to themselves. So it would have been, but of course now it's totally different. But anyways, I thought I'd tie it in because the George Chinnery Street is actually quite short. And there's a lot of interesting stuff we could do around this area. But yeah, it is interesting. So this Russian artist would have lived here. And I don't know exactly where George Chinnery lived, but I think he would have lived in this area as well. So as you can tell from the streets, they would have been around for quite a while. Look at that house right there. That one looks really interesting. You got like trees and kind of cool look to it. Okay. This is actually another kind of similar structure in here. But now it's a parking lot. Okay. It's all kinds of interesting stuff in this area. There's so many streets I'd like to focus on in here. This is also typhoon season, by the way, so Salao is coming this way. S-A-O-L-A. So I don't know, we'll find out later how much impact it has on the city. There's some pretty big typhoons in the past, so it's so you just don't really know. Anyways, we're gonna go back up to George Chinnery Street. I think those are Filipino. There's a lot of Filipinos in this area, as well as Chinese and everybody. A lot of people are buying stuff because of the typhoon as well. Okay. It'll probably be like well past by the time I upload this video. So that is George Chinnery Street right there. Pretty cool. And let's end it right there. Kind of interesting corner. Hey, checking out Macau 2023. Check out some more streets.